Godfrey Butele works as a clinical officer at the Kigwegwe Health Centre 4. Shortly after he was employed in 2008, he realised that something fishy was going on. Drugs were stolen from the stores of the health clinic, and Godfrey Butele decided to take action.
So one time I brought drugs myself from the district. I put them in the stores. The following day I found drugs missing. Then I tried to find from my colleagues where the drugs, who had taken the drugs. Nobody was ready to tell me.
Godfrey Butele tried to persuade his colleagues to stop the theft of drugs, but in vain. So he decided to inform the local monitors of the Wensori Anti-Corruption Coalition to look into the case.
They used to keep these drugs within the maternity wards, and they were not secure. So everybody could have access to the drugs. So these workers here used that gap, the security gap, which was at the health unit, to enter into these maternities and pick drugs anyhow. They could take them to these local clinics around. They start selling them.
Now I took action because we now had a problem of shortage of drugs, not because they are always running out of stock, but because staff were taking these drugs for their own benefits when the primary users, the patients, were not getting the drugs. Why should patients suffer at the expense of health workers who are paid for the service they offer?
So we as monitors, we just used him as our agent inside the health unit to give us the details. Let us get a chance and see how you have improvised for the safety of our drugs.
With the evidence provided by Godfrey Butele and the RAC monitors, action could be taken, and in 2010, the 3 accused were convicted of having stolen medicine worth 3.9 million Uganda shilling, some $1,700 US.
What can I be able to do as a monitor to prevent any type of corruption to happen?
The Wensori Anti-Corruption Coalition was formed in 2002 and now boasts 450 corruption monitors. Angela Byangwa has been an anti-corruption activist for years and trains the monitors who track and check public expenditure in the 7 districts of Wensori.
We are training the grassroots monitors in the planning and budgeting process, so they're able to actually understand that it's very important for them to participate as monitors and track exactly what is happening in there, other leaders ensuring that it's happening as the way it should, and then give us reports which we can actually use for action if there's any case of corruption.
The sand and the soil which was used, it was not mixed to the required amounts. This explains why even the bricks you can use fingers to remove it.
In Bundibugyo, close to the border with DR Congo, corruption monitors have had the construction of new police staff houses temporarily stopped due to poor quality.
That shows part of the shadow work during the construction. And if people had already occupied that building, it means people's lives would be at a risk. I'm doing it as a community member and an anti-corruption activist to assist and have people get accommodation and live in safe houses. It's my national obligation mandated by the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda.
It's not like you take it down. This type of petty corruption is common in this region, and that's why we as RAC, we are trying so hard to try to empower the citizens, at least to prevent it.
The case from Kigwegwe Health Centre 4 has added momentum to the local anti-corruption campaign.
After we had got that chance of arresting these culprits, and the Gazette and radios announced how the RAC monitors had performed within this health unit. Now the public has come in. It is always tipping us on some of these corruption tendencies, because we have armed our own people to make some voices.
Fighting corruption comes at a cost. The corruption activists are often intimidated by the wealthy and corrupt people, but that doesn't stop Angela Byangwa and her fellow activists.
I think it's very important to fight corruption, because with corruption, the poor become poor, and then the rich will of course become richer, because corruption is being not affected by the poor. Actually, the rich who are already with a lot of wealth are the ones who are actually adding on to this massive accumulated wealth.
Godfrey Butele does not regret blowing the whistle, even though it has had personal costs.
I've got so many threats, and I've been isolated from the friends of those individuals who were culprits, who are also members here. And they also had some big shots at the district, but since I was right, I was only isolated socially. But at work, I continue doing my work.